Hello, everybody, and today we are here with another board game review. Today we will be reviewing Space Base.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today we will be telling you that why you should play Space Base. Or should not, maybe. But before we continue with the review, please don't forget to subscribe and like. It doesn't cost you anything, but it really helps us get the kind of exposure that
It's
really helps the
free!
channel. All right, so let's get on with the review of Space Base. Now, Space Base is in the kind of genre of games which really don't have a name, but there are many games like this. If you have played games like Machikoro or My Farm Shop and the latest game Bad Company, then these all games have something in common. Normally, these games will have, including this Space Base, will have a number of these cards which will have a number from 1 to 12 on them, and you will be given two dice. You will roll those two dice, and whatever is on the dice, that's the card that will activate and give you the reward on them. Very simple. And that's the unique thing about this game, that it's very simple to get into. You roll the
So you
dice
just roll dice, that's all that happens.
and get the reward. What the choices you might have is that you might want to combine these two dice. So for example, if I had a 5 and 2, then I may want to combine 5 and 2 and get the reward 7, which is better. So the more higher number you go for, those rewards are better. Or might want to get to the low rewards, but both of them. So I can take both the 5 and the 2 reward, and it will give me some low reward, but I will get two rewards, and that's the decision that will come to you. In addition to it, as we gather these resources, what we will be trying to do is also trying to improve our engine which we are building here.
Because to be honest, it's pretty pathetic.
Yeah, in the start it will be very simple, and that's what these cubes are going to be for. Every player is going to have start with these three cubes: yellow, blue, and green. And what they represent is blue is your victory points, yellow is your coin, and green is your income. Basic cards are going to give you some coins, and once you have enough coins, you can go to the market and purchase new cards. They are just like in Splendor. There are going to be three level of cards: 1, 2, and 3. One level card will be easier to purchase but have very minimalistic rewards. Level 2 and 3 are going to be accordingly going to give you more fantastic rewards, but the card cost is going to increase.
There's literally a card that says you win.
Yeah, this is one of the cards. If you are able to activate this multiple times, it does require 3 to 5 activations, but if you activate this multiple times, you can even win the game without anything else. The other thing how you will be winning is there will be some cards here which give you victory point represented by a rocket symbol. Now what you will be trying to do is at certain points in the game,
I don't know.
well, it's a space game, so you are more and more exploring the space. Anyway, uh, with cards like this where you have the rocket symbol, you can replace these cards. All the cards will have the number that in which slot it can go. You have the slots from 1 to 12. So for example, this can go into my slot number 6 when I purchase it. When I purchase it, I will have to pay the price for it. But what happens to the existing card in that slot is that it doesn't go to waste. It actually goes underneath. Each of these cards have a blue ability and a red ability. So initially you are going to roll and only get the blue ability. When do you get the red ability?
When you get a red ability is when another person or the enemy rolls the same amount of die. So if my enemy, which is my father, rolls 10, then I get to have 3 free coins.
Correct. So this game has a lot of player interactivity, or nobody is actually sitting idle on anyone's else turn except maybe the first few turns. But once you have enough of the cards here, because on every turn you might be purchasing new cards, And what will happen then
Depends
is,
on how you use your money.
yeah, and what will happen then is that in each of these slots, you will have some red cards activated. And whenever someone rolls, you will be checking, ooh, can I activate any of my cards? And you will be using the same digits that someone else rolled. So if someone else rolled 3 and a 2, same options are available to you irrespective what the main player was doing. You can also activate a 3 or 2 or a 5 as well. So doesn't matter who is rolling, you are always engaged in the game. So if you have players like who lose interest in the game because it's taking too much time to come back to their turns, this is the kind of perfect game for them because they are engaged all the time. And Ishal is one of them. Yes.
Mm.
Ishal gets distracted and keeps looking at other things, but in this game, she will always have to look at, oh, what did someone else roll? Because
Victory points. And income, of course. I don't care about money.
now, if you have, of course, we upgraded this to victory points. If I roll a 6, my victory point counter will start to increase, and
No,
whoever
you are
makes,
not a victory point ballerina.
and whoever makes it reach 41st is going to be the winner.
Yeah, I know it sounds like a tough mission, but I mean, this card exists, and honestly, it's pretty easy to get victory points.
Whenever there is an empty space, you will open a card from this deck of cards to replace it so that additional options are available to the other players. Now, other than very simple cards which will give you either money or victory points, what does the income do?
The income can actually let you, well, shall I say, keep your money at a minimum. If your income is at a number 5 and you want to spend a lot of money, then you don't go back all the way to 0, you actually stay where your income is. So if your income is 5, then your money is 5.
Yeah, so what technically is happening is that you are still, if your income was
You're
at
not that
5
poor.
and your money was, let's say, 15, and you bought a card of 15, so your money does go to 0 because you just spent 15. But the end of your turn, this is the income that your other passive income that your other machinery, your bases are going to generate. So they will automatically generate 5 money for you at the end of your turn. That's what income is doing.
But I put it at like when I waste the money because why not?
Uh, Now, these are the three very simple things that's in the game and the three main resources in the game. But other than that, there are a lot more interactive cards that will be available in the game. So for example, there might be card with arrows, which let you activate the card to your left or right, or maybe 2 steps ahead. And those can be really beneficial. There are cards that if you want to use, you will have to put charges on them. And that's what the transparent cubes are for.
The white ones, of course.
Transparent, these are not white. White is white. White is like your shirt. This is transparent.
No, white is white. White transparent is white transparent.
Alright, so for example, this card will have some text that once you have enough charges, how will you charge? So this card gets placed on one space. As many times one gets rolled, you will be placing the cubes here, and once enough white cubes are transparent cubes are here, then you get to activate the ability that's written below. So for example, this card says swap your 6 and 7 sector cards. So automatically your 6 and 7 sector cards get replaced with each other. And what it is allowing you to do is, and there are other cards which let you swap your higher value cards to the lower sectors. That is, it increases the probability of you rolling the dice to actually activate them, because your lower sector cards below 6, there is the highest probability to actually roll these numbers, because you have 2 dice and that d6 has the maximum 6. So you 7 will never be coming on a single dice anyway. But anything below 6, there is twice the probability of making those numbers. So anything below 6 is the most lucrative. But the powers on 1 to 6 spaces are the least in these cards. So if you can find teleporters or cards which can let you swap those cards, then they are very powerful. Similarly, that's not all. There are other cards which are going to give you, once you charge them, you might be able to take some free cards. You charge them, you are able to charge other things. Once you charge them, then whatever
You can rob
the
everyone's
dice
money.
result comes, you can change those dice results. So things like that are there in this card. So a lot of interactive cards, a lot of powerful things. Even though my wife doesn't like charge cards, because you have to waste multiple turns first charging it up,
Yeah,
and
I
then you
agree.
get to use that ability.
I agree with her.
You're not getting any immediate reward, but the reward that you get from those charge, from that patience, that is really helpful. All right,
Get that when
so
you
that's
want
the
her.
gist of the game. The main fun thing will be the strategy that you want to use. Maybe you want to invest in one number a lot of time. So, for example, number four, I want to invest a lot in number four and have a lot of cards being put here. So, whenever someone rolls a four, I'm getting a lot of rewards. That's one way. Or I can spread my numbers around that, okay, whatever someone rolls, I'll get something. So that's up to you, that how do you want to plan this out? Do you want to plan to initially have a lot of high coin income? Because the coins will let you buy the cards. If you initially invest in victory points first, there is a high probability that your income will remain low. So even though you did start getting victory points from the beginning, but it might not be fast enough for as compared to other players, because they initially invested in money, start and they got a lot of money and kept getting good and good cards, while you were then unable to purchase any more good cards. Because at the end, there are these yellow cards available as well, which are just one time huge victory points. They do block off your bases.
Which means that if you, for example, buy a card that goes on number 9, you therefore cannot use the number 9 anymore.
Yeah, but you immediately get those 11 victory points. Similarly, if I upgrade this to, I can get 13 victory points in one go. But the sad thing is going to be that I will be blocking my 13 space for all future turns. So you might want to invest them, but maybe later in the game when you want to jump your score. But of course, these are going to cost a lot. So for example, this 13 or 14 victory point is going to cost 42 coins.
Even 6 victory points cost 18 when I can get 7 by my number 10, which is somewhere.
Yeah, so that's the game. You will be taking those decisions, that when do you upgrade things, when do you go to victory point earning mode, and then increase it. Think about the game.
Well, it's definitely not my favorite, but there are some things I actually do like about it. Like the victory points. I just like moving these little cubes so much. That's the only thing I enjoy about this game. I'm not the most strategic person. I don't really like strategizing and using my brain that much. But I do like some of the cards and thinking about where I could put them and how I can invest.
Now, in my opinion, where this game lacks is the initial few plays of this game might be a little lackluster, but only some initial plays. Because when I started playing it, I thought, well, this is too simple. Plus, what I didn't like was the artwork of this game.
Yeah, the artwork I do not like.
Because slowly you will see, oh, these look all same ships, even though they are different ships, but they are just like all the same kind of
They're just like
artwork.
recolored.
Yeah, just changing of colors and same kind of clip arty ships. They are not fancy ships. If you want to see beautiful
Like
space
Star
art,
Wars. That one Star Wars ships.
yeah, look at Star Realms. They have beautiful artwork on their cards. The artwork here wasn't very inspiring, even though the actual thing is just the symbols. But if your artwork is not inspiring, then you have just turned your game into meaningless numbers, and that's what this did. Then I didn't like the production quality of the game because these cards are so thin and tiny.
And they are so damn long.
Long is fine, but at least they could have made them bigger, but they are so small. I know it's
So
due to the space, because even with its current volume, it's a space hog. You can see that with
Also,
two players, we are unable to fit all the game on this table. But it's a space hog of a game for how small the game actually is.
I also kind of have a nerve that these cards must fit in the frame, and they are not. They are refusing to fit in the frame, so it's making me kind of mad.
The last thing that I told you that I don't like is the component quality, which is these boards. Compared to the cost this game is, I would have preferred these were double layered boards, so that when you actually put your cubes in,
They don't slide
fit in a place. Right now, as you can see, my victory point and income track have moved into the same lane,
They
and
have merged.
you will be bumping these boards a lot, because when you will be bringing in a new card, you will be putting these, and slowly you will be bumping these things around. And that's also a problem, because if you are playing on a kind of a sticky table, you might not be able to slide this in, especially with the other card already there, and the whole stack of cards will be slipped under the board, and then you have to slightly lift the board to push things out, and then your again cubes will be pushed all over the place. Now there are some easy solutions to it. For example, what we used was the blue tack or white tack, and put slight goo, play-doh like goo of white tack
Rubber.
underneath these, plus the players who were not playing on the soft mat, we put slight white tacks under the boards as well to make it slightly lifted, so that you can easily put your cards underneath. But again, those are just our own house hacks which we had to use to overcompensate for the lack of or the good production quality of the game, which otherwise would have been a perfect game. This would could have been a very nice game, but only these points actually lower down my score of it. But that's just the score for the base game. Check out our other video for the expansion pack for it, which
Wait.
redeems.
I didn't know there was an expansion pack.
You already played it.
Ever heard of acting?
But
He wrote the
that
script.
but that increases the value of this game a lot. So, just as a base game, it's a good game. Just some production qualities of this game and the production decisions they made make it a little lackluster. The initial plays might make you think this is a very simple game, but once you see more and more cards that come out, you might be then starting to think, ooh, I can use this card with this card, start shifting, use this card to shift my cubes from one base to the other, and then swap them around and have boom, these kind of victory point things happening for me in the future runs. But then those cards might not come up in future runs, and that adds, because there are plenty of cards that come in this game, so a lot of replayability, and in a very nice game by itself, which is made better with the expansion. So look out for our review next time for the Space expansion. But as it is, it's still a nice game, but maybe not essential just in itself, right? All right, that's it from us. Happy gaming.
Happy gaming.